I play the game with no timeouts. You ride my wave, you're getting wiped out. Big mistakes get wiped out. I spot you like a lighthouse. Watch your moves like a night owl. On a full moon, wolves gon' howl. Can't bounce back, no rebounds. I show up like me how. Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Tip Off. I am your host, Iceman and Eskimo, and y'all know what I'm going to talk about today. This team, before we get to preseason, because some of these guys might not even be on the team, you know what I mean? But the question that I have today is this team athletic enough? Because before we even got these certain amount of players, we were saying like we didn't have no athletes. Now that before preseason, I'm looking at the team and I'm like, hold on, we actually do got some athletes, you know what I'm saying? But is this team athletic enough for the fans? Is it athletic enough for the organization, or do we need to get more athletic? You know what I mean? Breezy, what's wrong with my title, bro? You know what I mean? What's good, bro? What you got on this, John?
Yeah, with you, Ice. But yeah, listen, if I can confirm this for you, if you're looking for the Brooklyn Nets to be an athletic team, you should look somewhere else because we just do not have the full amount of athleticism. I mean, could be some potential athletes on this team. Fanbo is one potentially if he could maybe get a two-way on this team. Another guy is Drake Powell, who I think is the most athletic guy that we drafted out of the bunch. I think Yegor showed a little bit of what he can do athletically, but he's not really known for that due to his lack of speed. But yeah, if you're looking at the full roster, athleticism is not going to be one of our strong suits because you have a lot of good playmakers. They don't have those guys that can just leap up, dunk a ball, or get by people with that type of physicality. A lot of these guys are going to have to like really dig deep, build up their physicality through strengthening and conditioning this season because a lot of these guys aren't at that level of peak conditioning yet to be able to have that type of athletic ability. So yeah, it's going to be tough for this team. I don't think athleticism, though, is one of their strong suits just based on who they drafted. But I would say Drake Powell is going to be one of the guys to watch because I think he does possess that athletic ability, 3-and-D potential type skill set. So it'll be interesting to see his development. But yeah, I don't know if this is the team that really is going to excel on that side of the game.
All right. So my outlook on athleticism, it's not really about driving by people, right? It's not really about getting by people, but can these dudes dunk on somebody? Can they, you know what I mean? Can they elevate and get one of these going, get the crowd going with one of these? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. And the pictures I have up here, you put Fanbo, he can do that too. I didn't even think about
Fanbo. I was like, where's Fanbo?
Yeah, I didn't put Fanbo on here, but for the dudes that I got up here, they capable. Like I just watched Zaire dunk on Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? I didn't seen Drake Powell in high school. He got, you already know he's got crazy bounce. Keon got crazy bounce. You know what I'm saying? He's got bounce. I put Cam up here for a different reason. Terrence Mann done dunked on a few people when he was on the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? Noah Clowney, he hasn't really dunked on too many people, but he's caught a couple bodies, and Claxton have dunked on a few people. So, you know what I mean? For me, I don't know if it's enough, right? I don't know if it's enough. This in years, player one said in the years, this is the most athletic team we had in years.
Whoa.
Might
so. Wait, what? I know you really like this team, but I don't think so.
Yo, but all these dudes that I got except for Cam, most of the dudes up here can dunk on somebody. They got enough bounce to do that. Derek still hurt, bro, and his athleticism hasn't come back yet. His bounce hasn't come back yet. But as far as what we MPJ, like I said, he's like they all caught bodies. The reason I had Cam up here, I don't want to switch the subject, but I'm going to just say the reason I got Cam up here, I want to say, is this one of the best athletic teams that of guys he's had around him as far as roster construction right now. To me, it seems like it is. You know what I'm saying? As far as now, he's got guys who can shoot, guys who cut, guys who will, you know what I'm saying? Not all physical guys, but you know what I'm saying? Guys that's athletic will dunk on somebody. He can throw lobs too. Like all these guys right here are lob threats for the most part. You know what I mean? So, John, what you think about that?
No, now when you bring this to the conversation, lob threat, definitely I think we have some guys. Claxton, that's been one of his best skill sets, being a good lob threat. I hear you could put Dayron in the category too as a backup. I think Clowney is very interesting this year. This has to be a big year for Clowney to show not only could he do offensively, but defensively as well. When he came up the first half of his beginning of his career, he was shot blocking a lot, like really well, honestly. And then last year he was injured a lot. You got to see the 3-point shot, but you didn't really see Clowney on the defensive end. Now, if he could really come in training camp, not only fully healthy, but even stronger because he added muscle last year. If he got even more muscle, he could be a huge lob threat and maybe have some type of athletic ability to show in his arsenal that we haven't seen yet. We've seen little ebbs and flows of Clowney showing something different, but we haven't seen it consistently. He's definitely the most interesting one you have up here on the board because I think he could really get to that level if he is healthy enough and evolves his game. Some of the other guys are interesting too. I think Michael Porter Jr. and Zaire, they're more rim runners and cutters where they can get a lob threat when nobody's looking from a good playmaker. And the great thing is we have like 5 to 6 different playmakers. So I think Zaire and MPJ might have a lob dunk here or there, but it's not going to be like anything like 8 or 10, maybe like 4 or 5 maybe per season, something like that. But I definitely think they could impact that game with their athletic ability a little bit. But yeah, mostly I think it's going to be Drake Powell, Fanbo, potentially Clowney, and Claxton. If Claxton could really show that athletic dunking ability that he showed the previous years when he was leading a field goal, that's definitely going to boost his value and definitely give the Nets a little edge on the athletic side. But I definitely agree with you. We're not athletically composed as a whole roster, but you definitely have lob threats and rim runners. It's just how the playmakers going to get each of these guys involved. That's going to be the fun part of trying to construct the offensive side this season, for sure.
All right. Breezy said this team is like a C grade in athleticism.
Ooh, generous. I would give you C minus, but that's generous.
A C grade in athleticism. So what? So to me, like, what athleticism are we trying? What's a grade A athleticism? I don't know a lot of teams that got, like, I would say as many, like, we got rim runners, we got putback guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8. No, I didn't put Cam. 7. Fanbo 8. Who did I left off? One person too, other than Fanbo. So maybe 9 guys. You know what I'm saying? Can actually catch a body and dunk on somebody. And like you said, rim runner, cutters. You know what I'm saying? Who can dunk? You know what I'm saying? So what would take this team to an A in athleticism?
If they drafted a Cooper Flag, Race Bailey, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But I mean, if you look at it, like look at a team like the Magic, that front court of theirs is really strong. You have Paolo, Franz, Wendell, 3 guys who can each show off some type of athletic ability, especially at the rim. Like it really starts with that front court. If you're a really strong athletic team, your front court really has to have that. I think for the Brooklyn Nets this year, we have some guys who have athletic spurts, but we really don't have that balanced front court yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how they divvy up the minutes, because if you put a Michael Porter Jr. out there with a Zaire and then a Claxton, that's an interesting front court, but it's not really a super athletic front court unless the playmakers really get those guys involved with the lob threats. But you rather have the guys that are naturally really good at it, which would take this to an A+ rating. But unfortunately, we don't have those strong forwards that have that pedigree. So I think that's what me and Breeze are referring to. It's the pedigree, Ice. I think these guys have skill sets, but their primary skill set is not really on the athletic side, but they can show it. I think that's where me and Breeze are coming from on the CC minus part of it. So if the Nets can draft a really great forward, though, next year in that draft, the Bouncy, Boozer, Anita Mont, Asenik, or even Tunde Yasafu, then you really could start seeing this grade move up a bit, because you can have a solid front court potential franchise guy. That's what's going to make the grade move for the Nets. But even Keon Johnson, he has probably one of the best verticals on his team, but he doesn't really use the dunking aspect of his game as much. If he could really use his athletic ability this year, as far as just getting by people, getting to the rim more, that might move this grade from a C, C minus, maybe a B minus ish, because he definitely has athletic ability, but he doesn't show it as much because he hasn't had the most amount of minutes. But he definitely has it within him to show it. But yeah, overall, you don't really have primarily guys that have the athletic pedigree, is what was why the grade is the way it is right now.
Okay. That's what's up, because I still see my grade for them is probably, I would probably say maybe maybe a B. I don't want to go too high. I'm not going
Okay.
to an A. I would say maybe a B. You said Breezy said a C. You said C minus. I'll probably take it to a B minus, because like you said,
Hmm.
we don't have that guy. We don't have an Ant Edwards. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That's just,
right.
you know what I'm saying. We don't have one of those. But I think with the guys like MPJ, he can get downhill a little bit and dunk on
Hmm.
somebody. Zaire, I'll just watch Zaire dunk on a few people. You know what I'm saying? Keon is you know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
gets open court. You know what I'm saying? Marlene said he hasn't dunked on anyone. Zaire dunked on people. Keon is the one that he really hasn't like thrown nothing down, like, you know what I'm saying, has the mindset that I'm going to get to the cup and y'all better clear out, you know what I'm saying, because I'm about to, you know what I'm saying, y'all can't jump with me. So he hasn't had that mindset. Now Drake Powell, like you said, Drake is an interesting one because
Right.
he's athletic, you know what I'm saying, and I seen him dunk on someone in college, but NBA level, will he be able to do that? He has the vertical leap to do so. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know if he will. Clowney is another one. I just watched his highlights. He dunked on a very few. Like you
Hmm.
said, he can't get downhill unless he's cutting or a putback or something like that.
Right.
But he can dunk on somebody. You know what I'm saying? And Claxton for sure dunks on a lot of people. You know what I mean? Because his specialty is rum running. So I take it up a little bit higher because it's more than six guys. It's more than eight guys or around eight. You know what I'm saying? For a roster of 15 and you got eight possible guys that can do that, I'll say B. You know what I mean?
That's very fair. I just think for the Nets, you want that front court to really have that athletic ability as a primary skill set. And Brian just said that we could probably get Yasafu at like a late top 10. Listen, that guy might be top 6 or 7. I mean, I saw some of his highlights briefly. This guy has an Anthony Edwards Jr. type skill set. If he can really show it in college this year, that guy might rise to top 6, hell, maybe even a top 5 slot. He's definitely going to be a wing to look out for because you just look at what he can do. He's got the athletic explosion of an Ant-Man, and I really hope he has a great college season because it'll make our jobs a lot harder as far as evaluating who we should get with one of our a top potential lottery pick. So he's definitely a guy to watch. But yeah, I mean, Ice, a B could happen. I just think we got to see how this team progresses, and I really got to see what the final roster is. We have over 21 guys right now. Once we see what the final roster looks like, then we can maybe give a preview evaluation grade and then give an evaluation grade, let's say at midseason near the trade deadline, see how these guys are doing the athletic side of the game. I think then we could give a more fair evaluation. But I think from what you're saying, a B minus to a C minus, that's, I think, the fair margin median right now of what this team could be athletically. There's nobody spectacular on that side of the game, but if these guys give heart and effort, you could probably get as high as a B minus, I think, with this team right now. But we also have to see what this team is going to be around September when it's finalized or October. I
Right.
mean.
I could agree with that because yeah, 21, 22, whoever's, wow, we picking up talent right now and trying to figure it out. So that was
Right.
another thing I thought about, right? Even though they got us not winning a lot of games, and I'm starting to see the guys that they trying to pick up. I don't know if we're gonna keep Highsmith, right? I don't
Mm,
know if we're gonna keep him. He only has a $5 million deal, but he's on a contract and is only for 1 year, right? So I
yeah.
start to vision as what I was saying as far as a rebuild, what we talked about, as far as a rebuild, maybe they don't play, maybe they play better, or maybe they don't play better as good as we think. I mean, you see, I think they went around 20 something games, not now nowhere
Mm,
close to 30 or nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Not the high 20s, low 20s, right? But then I see the pieces like Highsmith, they, you know what I'm saying, took his contract. Miami got under the cap, but he's a defender. He's 28 and he's what's the word I'm looking for? Um a
powerful.
veteran. He's a
Mm,
veteran. He's a veteran, right? You got MPJ, older. You would call him a veteran, you know what I'm saying? And Terrence Mann. So three guys who MPJ championship, um Highsmith, Miami's pedigree, you know what I'm saying? Mindset for Miami, defensive guy, You know what I'm saying? And then you got Terrence Mann, another defensive guy who's a veteran. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking now that I heard them say they wanted more veterans. I don't know who's going to stay on the team, but now they got three older guys and MPJ championship, like I said, and those other two are just defensive guys. You know what I'm saying? And now you bring them onto the roster. If they stay, they get to teach the young guys something. So I think from now they're starting to build, trying to get that identity or look for guys to teach the young guys how to do play the game the right way and learn a bit of the defense and what it takes to be a champion in this league. What you think, John?
Yeah, definitely agree. I think the interesting thing about Haywood is he did get the meniscus injury, which is unfortunate. Wonder how that's going to affect him because his main asset is what he can give you defensively. They call him locksmith because you look at his defensive highlights, he just knows how to shot block people or just be so antsy and irritating that these guys sometimes don't even see him coming because he can
Right.
just defend them well. The only thing is he's like you just said, he's on a 5.3 expiring contract. He's an unrestricted free agent, so he can kind of go anywhere next year. Now the thing is, they say he's going to be out for 8 to 10 weeks, so he could be back maybe around end of November, early December. I think would be a fair a
Uh-huh.
margin for that, and he could probably have about a month and a half, maybe 2 months to build up his value. I think the good thing about his value is I think a lot of teams could use what he has defensively, and if he can show that and be healthy for a month and a half of play, maybe we could trade him for maybe a few more seconds or something like that because I think he still has some type of trade value. But at the
Uh-huh.
same time, given our roster crunch, there could be a chance he gets waived as well, just because we have so many young talent that we want to get minutes. You necessarily don't want the vets to take away those opportunities. But at the same time, he has that defensive edge that Jordy really wants these young guys to embody. That's one of the core values of this team. What can you do defensively on a night-to-night basis? And the great thing about Highsmith is he takes great pride in that side of the game. So I could really see pros with keeping him past this year, seeing how he impacts the young guys, seeing what he could do with people behind the scenes as far as building a culture and a mindset. But at the same time, he's unrestricted free agent. He might still have some type of value, and you could flip him at the deadline. So it could go either way. But no matter how long he's here for, if he can impact these young guys in a positive way, that's a good way to utilizing his value. But I think he's probably going to be a trade asset, or maybe the Nets still bring him back because they maybe don't see him as a long-term fit. But he does give you that defensive grit that you're looking for. So it could go either way for me, but I hope he can help the young guys for sure. But we definitely do need vets that do embody the defensive grit because we want these young guys to eventually do that themselves, and then it makes it easier to build around them. But we really have to see how Haywood's situation plays out this season.
Right. I could see them keeping him. He's on a low contract, a defensive minded guy. You're right. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? He's not an all he can shoot the three, but his calling card is defense. And Jordy and Breeze, like we all talked about what's first, what should be first, and his defense. So when you get a guy on a low contract like that, and he's a veteran, I would think, I would think that they would want to keep somebody like that because his contract isn't going to go like crazy high. You know what I'm saying? From where
right.
he's at now. You know what I mean? He's not going to end up being a 20 million a year guy at no time at 28, right? His contract always going to be around like another what they offer Cam, maybe 14 mil, seven a year. I mean 7 mil a year type deal, or 8 mil a year. You know what I'm saying? As a veteran who like I said has been in Miami, and everybody know how Miami get down. You know what I'm saying? Miami
Right.
mindset is different. So now they bring Jordy's mindset, the Miami mindset, Michael Porter Jr. from Denver, a championship mindset, and with the young guys, and hopefully, you know what I'm saying, put this together just to get a mindset of everybody, what these guys do on a regular, and try to win. You know what I'm saying? What it takes to win, what it takes to be a professional in the league. You know what I'm saying? So I see that for the young guys. Now, everybody in between, you know what I'm saying? We don't know where these, you know what I'm saying? The in between guys, I don't
Right.
know. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
guys with contracts, I think for the most part, I think a lot of guys is on contract, but I think the higher paid guys like MPJ, Terrence Mann, I don't think they're going anywhere until they maybe another year. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. It could go
Um,
either way. And you also have to think about if he is staying on this team, he's not going to play for at least maybe a month, 2 months, or something like that, maybe a month and a half. So you are going to have to move somebody else. And you're essentially going to have a 14-man roster with him being the 15 guys. So you look at guys like Whitehead, Jalen Wilson, Tyrese Martin, Drew Timmy. one of those guys, unfortunately, might just have to get shuffled out of here before the rosters get finalized. Be interested to see who that is. Maybe you could trade one of those guys for a second round pick, but you probably shouldn't just let them go for nothing because some of these guys do want to be here. It's just unfortunate if you keep Hayward, one of them has to go. But at the end of the day, like you said, he brings the defensive grit and edge that you want this team to embody, and he is only 28, so the Nets don't have to pay a lot of money to keep this guy next year because they are going to have some cap space. I think the Nets could potentially have over $20 million in cap space next year. That means you could give this guy a little cheddar, nothing too crazy, to kind of be that defensive vet to help the young guys defensively get better on a day out, day in basis. So I definitely do see some good value with keeping Haywood. At the same time, though, his 28 age does make him a potential trade asset at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see how he impacts his team. But if we do keep him past next year's trade deadline, I think there is a high chance that we'll sign him in 2026 to kind of just be that defensive vet to help these guys always have that pride on that side of the game. But it'll be interesting to see for sure how it winds down because it could go either way. But at the same time, you keep them, somebody's got to go. So it'll be interesting to see who that person is.
Yeah, but we at 121, 22, and we can only keep 15 guys. It's going to be mayhem by the start.
Definitely.
When the season starts, like, you know what I mean? Decisions the organization got to make. You know what I mean? I know we still got one two-way contract spot open, but like I said, Tucson could be another guy that's out of here depending on who's trying. You know what I mean? They could take him off that contract and he could be an odd man out. So it's probably, we got 21. So what's that? 5, 6, possibly 7, 6 guys could be off this team, bro.
Or sent to the G League. It could go either way. They could be waived, traded, or sent to the G League. I think you're going to keep some of these guys, but they obviously are going to have to accept that at the same time. It'll be interesting to see who really does want to be here and fight for a role. And with the Haywood situation, it could go either way at this point. And then the Cam Thomas situation, still unresolved. Like, we're almost at the end of August now. It's what's today? What's today's date? August
16th.
16. Like, we are fast approaching media day quicker than we know it because the longer this Cam Thomas stuff goes on, the more bigger decisions the organization has to make. They think they have all the time in the world. Well, time waits for nobody. And in this case, for the Brooklyn Nets, you have over 20 guys on this team. You can only have 15 when the roster's set. So guys obviously have to go. And I think Tucson, definitely on the bubble, didn't have a good summer league. He was kind of being very ISO-oriented, not really being a good teammate whatsoever. And I just think Jordy doesn't want guys with that mindset. And I think Tucson, in his case, was trying to fight for a role. Fighting for a role, totally understand, but you also have to understand what the coach is going to want from him. I just don't think Tucson did anything impressive to warrant being on this team. So I feel like him and maybe Wilson and Tyrese or Timmy, they're definitely on the bubble. Whitehead especially, just because if Cam does get re-signed, you have Terrence Mann and Drake Powell essentially backing him up. That makes Whitehead essentially a fourth guy. And given the fact he's had injury issues, if he doesn't get any regular playing time this year, I don't see a reason why the Nets would keep him past the trade deadline next year. Maybe they'll show him sparingly, but if he doesn't have a role by then, they'll probably try to flip him for a second-round pick at this point. So, yeah, like you said, Ice, a lot of over 6 guys could potentially be either off this team or sent to G League, but that's just the way of the Brooklyn business. At the end of the day, the hope is you have these 20 guys go in for training camp, fight for their roles, and you kind of know early on, okay, who's got to go, who could stay in the middle at the G League, and who's going to be part of our main core going forward, or at least fighting for a role. Like, nothing is guaranteed this year. Nobody on this team has a guaranteed role this year. Everybody's got to fight for something. So it'll be interesting to see around training camp who gets cut and who essentially has a chance to fight for something. But yeah, based on the guys we said, unfortunately, they just have the numbers going against them right now at this point.
Definitely. I'm gonna go back to this question that Breeze asked. Breeze, it depends on the tear, like Gilio said, but it says 4 to 8 weeks for like a minor and 3 to 6 months for like a major tear. So, you know what I'm saying? He probably has a minor tear, and it says like it's a common thing to happen for a meniscus tear in the knee. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing that's uncommon. It's a common thing for everybody. You know what I mean? It just depends on how bad the tear is. So, you know what I'm saying? A physical therapy, might need some surgery, whatever, some rest, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So, you know what I mean? Highsmith he might be all right. Because I don't think John said a couple weeks, so most likely it's minor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Something minor.
And based on what's going on in modern medicine, you saw Tatum and Halliburton already out of their boots already. Like, this guy might be doing jumping jacks in a few weeks, and we don't know it. But also But also at the same time, we also have over $22 million of cap space to spend. So we might have to make a trade or two and buy out that guy essentially. I hope we don't just have the guy on the roster, because then it just makes it even messier. Like, you have a guy who's fighting over three guys, add a fourth guy, pause. Like, it's just, you don't need those type of problems. So if we're gonna use this cap space, guys, do maybe one or two more salary dumps, but buy those guys out. We should not have like over 5 or 6 veterans on this team with a whole bunch of young guys. At least bring it down to 3 to 4 vets at most, because this season is about the young guys essentially, not about the vets taking all the minutes and trying to fight for their money. I know that's part of the process, but this season's
Right.
about the young guys going through adversity and fighting to show why they should be a part of the core. It's great having vets, but don't need the vets taking up all the minutes and ruining essentially a chance to get a top lottery pick next year.
Right. I'm gonna bring it back. Notorious has just pulled up. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, my guy, what's good? Topic right now. Hey,
What's going on?
the topic, my dude, is this team athletic enough? Because, like I said before, we were saying our guys we ain't having enough athletes on this team, and now I pulled up a little bit of what we got going on, except for Cam. Cam is up there for another reason, but the guys around Cam, Nick Claxton, Clowney, Zaire, Terrence Mann, you know what I'm saying, Keon and Drake Powell, all guys that, you know what I'm saying, could put the, you know what I'm saying, get the head tapping, get the crowd excited for a lob dunk or a body to body dunk, pause, you know what I'm saying? So what do you think this team is athletic enough, or are we not? You know what I'm saying? What you think?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think we're better than what we used to be in the past for sure. I mean, we got way more athletes than we do now. But I don't know. I mean, it's a difference between, like, jumping out the gym, like athleticism, and just like a little athletic. Like, I think it's a difference between a Zaire and somebody like Drake Powell.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Zaire is athletic, but he's not crazy athletic. You know what I mean? Like Clowney. Right. Clowney's athletic, but he's not crazy athletic like that. So, right. but for sure, I mean, I think we got more athletes than what we used to having. You know what I mean? So, we'll see, man.
Right. You think we athletic enough now, or do we need to get more athletic? Like, do we need to get like an Ant Edwards on this team to be like, now we athletic?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I mean, we don't got an athletic guy. I think that's like, you see, like, yo, his athleticism is off the charts. Like, he's jumping out the gym, or we don't got an Anthony Edwards or somebody like that. But I do think we got hints of athleticism. I think Drake Powell could be something like that, but Drake Powell's a rookie, and we still gotta coach him along and see what we have. But yeah, I mean, we're athletic, but man, listen, it's a lot of teams in the NBA that are just super athletic, bro, super big, pause. And when you look at our team compared to other teams, it's like, yeah, we're more athletic than what we usually are, but we're not at peak athleticism in the NBA. You know what I mean?
Joey, how would you grade this team though on athleticism so far? Ice gave them a B minus. I gave them a C minus. Breezy gave them a C. What grade would you give them right now, just based on what you've seen?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. C plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a bad answer. That's not a
bad
because
answer. I think, like I said, I think they're I mean, I think we're average when it comes to athleticism. When I'm looking at this team right now, I don't think it's nothing like that's jumping off the charts to me, athletic wise. You know what I mean? But like I said, we are more athletic than what we're used to seeing in Brooklyn. But so I think a C plus is fair.
No, that's a very fair grade. I think I talked to Ice about it. I think right now the level is a B minus to at least a C minus right now. We got to see who's going to be on this roster. We have over 20 guys right now. I think Fambo should time to a two-way. He's definitely got athletic ability. Powell's probably one of our best guys. I think Clowney has a lot of untapped potential. He could definitely be a lob threat, a cutter. He really just has to add more muscle and really just show that side of his game this year, because I really think he has potential. He just has to show it a bit more. And then we said that MPJ and Zaire are good rim cutters, good lob threats. Like, you have spurts for athleticism, but next year's draft, you got to hope you can get that wing that has it in their arsenal as far as pedigree grows, because the front court needs to have athleticism if you want to be a serious championship team. And I just don't think our front court is balanced whatsoever on that side of it. But I think a C plus could be generous if this team shows fight on the front court on some nights.
Yeah, Joey. So the other one is like with Cam. The reason I got Cam up there is this the most would this be like with the players we just talked about? Is this like the most athletic type of team that he had that where he got lob threats? You know what I'm saying? Like everywhere. Like these guys are all lob threats. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, like you said, they're not average. They're not going to come down the lane and just, you know what I'm saying, clear the way. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what's going down. But if you get to the paint, you could throw any one of these guys a lob and they're going to dunk it. You know what I mean? So, like you said, so we've been deprived of athleticism for a while. You know what I mean? Fans say we ain't got no athleticism. But now, do you think like this is the best athletic team so far with the guys here that Cam is going to be playing with?
Say again?
I said, do you think this the most athletic team so far that Cam Thomas will be playing with these guys? No, you said they're not average. They're not going to get down the lane and dunk it on somebody. But if you get to the paint, you could throw any one of these guys a lob, and most likely they're going to dunk it. So I'm saying, do you think like these guys is the most athletic guys Cam has played with so far?
For sure, absolutely. Yeah, I do. Like I said, I mean, I've been watching the Nets since they've been in Brooklyn, bro, and to me, this is the most athletic team, big team for us wingspan that we've had in a very long time. You know what I mean? So for sure.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking over everything. I was like, hold on, these guys kind of, you know what I'm saying? A couple of these guys got some bounce. A couple of these guys caught some bodies. The one that surprised me, I didn't know Terrence Mann has caught a lot of bodies over for the Clippers. You know what I mean? He ain't a high leaper, but he get downhill. He will punch it on somebody. You know what I mean? So that was surprising to me. And now I was like, hold on, like he's a little bit different. His contract, he might be here for 2 years. So do people sleep on Terrence Mann, or he just, you know what I'm saying? He just a guy to everybody. You know what I mean?
Here's a good question. Here's a good question. Are any of these guys going to be in the dunk contest next year? Because you just brought Terrence Mann, like, yo, imagine Terrence Mann, the one guy nobody would think has athletic ability. The guy just dunking the ball like he's Mac. But yeah, I think to what Joey said, this is probably one of the best seasons you have guys that have a spurt of athleticism in their body. Last few years, that really hasn't been the Nets type of game because we had the big three. We're known for most of being big scorers. We really haven't had those type of athletic guys. At least with this team, you have guys who can show spurts of it. You don't have that primary pedigree of athleticism, but you have guys who can show it in spurts. That's not a bad thing whatsoever. It'll just be interesting to see how the playmakers can find those guys for the lobs, for the rim runs, stuff like that. It's really going to take a team effort on a night-to-night basis because right now our offense is very unbalanced and our defense, I think like Elam said it perfectly, it has to be a mentality. You have to have mentality on this team to fight every night to even hold the team to under 80 or 90 points. I don't think this team's going to hold a lot of teams under that threshold. So It's going to have to take a lot of effort from these guys. But yeah, I think next year, once you get that really type of athletic wing that has franchise potential, it's going to make the front court even more stronger. And I just think that's really what the Nets should build towards. But if any of these guys in that front court can show a type of fight, a type of edge, definitely going to make their case better on why they could be here or be a trade asset that the Nets can utilize. But right now, everything is kind of up for grabs for this team. And for Cam Thomas, like Joey said, he has all these potential lob threats around him. And everybody talks about his playmaking needing a lot of work. Well, let's see what he can do with a full season. If he can get 5 or 6 assists as a scoring guard with some of these guys being lob threats, that definitely improves his value. So I think for these guys, it's going to take a lot of syncrasy on trying to figure out how to offensively have a game plan on a night-to-night basis. But it'll be interesting to see how it all transpires when it does. But some nights are not going to be great. But if the Nets can still win or two here, it's definitely going to be good for their morale as far as trying to build culture and chemistry and all that.
All right, Joey, what you think?
I mean, I like Terrence Mann, man. But I think his thing is his consistency. Like we've seen games you like in his younger days, and he was just like, damn, like this dude could be like looking like one of the top young players in the league, and then like it just be times he'll just disappear. So um, I don't know if that's like based off of like how they've been using him in LA and
Uh,
stuff like that, but
uh, uh-huh.
we'll see. I mean, he got a whole season. I mean, to play with Brooklyn to really showcase his talent, to showcase his bag. And I like him. I mean, he's a competitor for sure.
For
I
sure.
wouldn't say he's underrated. I would just say that I don't know. It's just like I said, he's just like flash in the pan. He's been flash in the pan for since he's been in the NBA. You know what I mean? So
That's
is he
just
going? Is
good.
he going? Is he going to gain some consistency and let people know that he's here and you know what I mean? And then he'll start to open up some eyes in the NBA. But you can't. You got to do that with consistency. You can't do that with a couple of games and then you go missing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah. I could agree. I think consistency with man is the problem. I like Terrence Mann as well. I like the defense. I like the hustle. You know what I'm saying? He's not a guard that's afraid to do anything. You know what I mean, on the court. Defense, post, you know what I'm saying? I just watched him and Zaire work out with Chris Johnson. And he was saying that he was running plays for them in there that they could work on during the game. He said, I can see y'all creating a lot of problems because you both can shoot, you know what I'm saying? And y'all both cut to the basket, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, both lob threats. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm paying attention to what's going on. He is working on his individual game, but got Zaire out there with Chris Johnson working together. Now that's different, you know what I'm saying? From somebody, a veteran, not being here, but now he's here and they working out together already. You know what I mean? So I like what I've seen so far. I posted that on Twitter. I don't know if anybody else seen it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
let me
gonna
see.
check it out. I haven't seen it. I've been out all day, but I haven't been on Twitter too much today. But I'm gonna definitely check it out and see what's going on.
Okay, I see. Wu says the thing with man on the Clippers, they didn't know if they wanted him as a point guard or a two guard, and that created his inconsistent game.
Mm.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? So that's different. That can happen. Um, the Clippers stunted his development as well, as player one said. I thought he would be a lot better. That happens too on certain teams. So that means he could have some hidden potential to be better than what people think. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Bryce, he's seen
Right.
him work
They
out with Chris
referred to
Johnson.
when they referred when they got Harden. So they got James Harden. Terrence Mann just became a background player. So like his stock really just whoops.
Plummeted. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the thing with stars. Once they come over, you got to move over. Like that's literally what happened. So the thing that's interesting with Terrence Mann's situation is, let's say to Cam Thomas, there's a small chance that he does leave this team before the season starts. Terrence Mann is probably your scoring guard to start the season. I know a lot of people don't like that, but just like Ice and Joey said, maybe there's some untapped potential we haven't seen yet, and there is no stars on this team. So Terrence Mann will have a full throttle chance to prove himself to be maybe a potential building block. I don't think that's going to happen because he's 28 years old, but he could be maybe a solid vet for this team. But in the likelihood that Cam is traded, Terrence Mann slides in as a starting two, where Drake Powell will probably back him up. But if comes back this season, Terrence will likely be coming off the bench as his backup. And even as a backup, let's see what Terrence Mann can do as a vet on this team, as a leader, and see if he can build up his stock somewhat. Because a lot of people, surprisingly, don't want to trade for him because he's making $50 million. I don't think that's crazy salary, but if you're hard capped, I totally understand. But if this guy could boost up his value, he could be a valuable trade asset or a building block vet for this team. I just like with some of these other vets on this team, the situation can go either way. It depends on what the Nets organization feels is the best way to utilize them. Are you a trade chip or a building piece to help the young core? I think Terrence Mann, it could go either way, but I look forward to seeing if he can prove something this year that certain people haven't seen from him yet.
All right,
Yeah,
that's what's up.
I think when you
Go ahead,
look
Joey.
at Terrence Mann and you look at MPJ, I mean, it just goes to they're the archetype that the Brooklyn Nets have liked over the years. They're called
Mm-hmm.
fallen angels. They're guys that
Ooh.
that were, looked at as very high
Mm-hmm.
as young guys. I mean, they played well enough to stick around in the league, but they never hit that star-like potential. You know what I mean? And I think the Brooklyn Nets like guys like that. I think they seek potential in guys like that. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Untapped potential. I think this is a perfect time to give guys like that who you think got that untapped potential the keys because we're rebuilding. You know what I mean? And like John said, either they can be a you bet low and hopefully you hit on a guy, or you know what I mean, and you keep him and he's around to help out with the young guys, or what I mean, you flip them and use them for assets. So it just all depends, man. I think they're betting, they're taking a chance on these guys, hoping that what I mean, they hit on them, or whether that and whether they use them to as a future piece, or maybe they use them to flip for assets later on.
Right. Now I'm gonna go to you, Joy, because me and John talked about it early. Highsmith, Haywood Highsmith from Miami, bringing that Miami pedigree to Brooklyn. As you just talked about MPJ and Terrence Mann. MPJ champion, Terrence Mann, a guy that's defensive. Highsmith, defensive guy. Veteran. So you got like three older guys you can call vets. They not the super vets, but I guess you want to call them the new vets.
They like mid tier. They like mid tier, mid level vets. Like, you know what I mean? Right. Mid 20s guys. They ain't in their early 30s, but they in their mid 20s. They've been in the league about 5 to 7 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you think about them picking up Highsmith, even though he has an injury, meniscus tear, surgery coming back? But the Nets picked him up for $5 million. I don't know if he's going to stay on the roster or not, but seeing the older vets like Terrence Mann, defensive guy, Michael Porter, who we just traded for, and Highsmith, do you think they getting those type of players to help bring along the younger players? Because Highsmith is straight defense, Terrence Mann defense, Michael Porter Jr. champion. Or are you seeing them? Do you see the picture of them trying to build that with the young guys, with the defense and being a champion? What you think?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it right on the head.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what I think. John, you want to talk about, I can't pull up the schedule on the laptop, but the schedule, what do you think about the schedule?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think for where the Nets are rebuilding wise, I think the schedule for the first half before the deadline perfectly sets this team up to have potentiality to trade some guys to even get more assets. Shams announced yesterday the Nets now officially have the most first round draft picks and the most the most second round draft picks. They have, I think, 19 or 20 second round draft picks and around 13 first round draft picks, 9 tradable. So the Nets are definitely collecting right now extra assets on top of what they already have. So that's something they definitely have down pat, which is great as far as making future big moves. And financially, they're doing great. I think for the first half of the schedule, it definitely sets the Nets up as far as getting a top lottery pick next year perfectly, because I think the games are fairly balanced and there are a lot of good teams out there that the Nets are just not going to stack up against. What is very interesting is that December, it's not a lot going on in December. I think the Nets play only 9 games in December. I was on the Brooklyn Boys channel and I dubbed December for the Brooklyn Nets Merry Tank Month, because we face a lot of bad tanking teams potentially. So it'll be interesting to see if the Nets want to get some extra wins maybe with this young club, or they want to lose to other teams that could potentially get a top pick before them. So that's going to be a very interesting month. And then January, it's very tough because the Nets play a lot of road games in January. I think the end of January to early February, the Nets go on their longest road trip. So January is definitely be a tough, adverse month for this young team because they have to go on the road a lot. And, road games, especially with a young team, it's a lot to handle. So I think January is going to perfectly set the Nets up as far as coming towards the trade deadline, ready to maybe trade and get some more assets. But, yeah, that's going to be a tough part of the schedule. And then February, March, and April, a lot of different games. And I think overall it sets up the Nets very well as far as where they're trying to get in 2026 with the draft. And I think it's a good schedule to test these guys. The great thing is we have a lot of tough back-to-backs. That's not great, but we don't have as much back-to-backs as the 76ers do with 16. But I think it's interesting after the All-Star break, we face the Cavs and OKC in a back-to-back. That's probably the worst. That's the worst 2 games on the schedule for the Nets. I mean, come on. We're facing arguably the potential future Eastern Conference champions and the Western Conference champions back-to-back. So, yeah, these are going to be a lot of tough games for this young team, but I think you're going to see this team fight on a lot of nights. And December is going to be a very interesting month for this team, that's for sure. But I think the
All right.
schedule, how they did it, was pretty good though for this team.
All right, I'm gonna read off some of the games. I got November where Brian said he think we're gonna win one game, and then I'm gonna go into December. So November, starting from those November 2nd, we got the 76ers, then the Timberwolves, the Pacers, the Pistons, the Knicks, the Raptors, the Magics, then the Wizards, Celtics, Raptors, Knicks, 76ers, Bucks, Hornets. Now we in December. December's Hornets. The Bulls, the Jazz, the Pelicans, the Heat, the Raptors, the Sixers, Timberwolves, the Warriors. That's the end of December right there. So it's kind of tough. It's gonna be tough so far because you know what I'm saying. Like you said, in December they got a chance to win some games, but like you said, I don't put nothing past Jordy. I
Right.
seen Jordy. I seen Jordy win with lesser talent in games that most likely he shouldn't have won, but we still end up winning some games. I don't put it past them to win a few more games than what people think. I think they got us at like 20, 22 wins this season. And anytime they put us, give us a number, I always think a few more games because of Jordan. He gets the best out the dudes. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? Me on one leg right now, Jordy could probably get me to hit a three. You know what I'm saying? On the court right now. How he be doing? You know what I mean?
Probably have me dunking like Shaq. Oh no, but I agree with you.
I think I'll probably take the over on the 22 wins, just like I thought last time. But it does seem tough. You know what I'm saying? The Hornets got better. I'm not sure if the Bulls really got better. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the same problem as us with Josh Giddey. But like other than that, like the rest of the teams is difficult. Celtics, Raptors might be all right this season. The Wizards might be gotten better depending on their coaching. They got a nice little roster. Brad thinks he said 24 wins. Yeah. If they got us at 22, I would say like 20, 24, 25, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what goes on. If they decide to let the young guys play a lot this season, you know what I'm saying? Bring them up from the G. Rockets, Hawks, 76. All those teams should be like playoff teams. Timberwolves, Pacers, Pistons. Like that's a stretch right there that might be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just gotta look for what the guys improve in during that time. And that's November games. That's in November.
And the first 10 games are trial by fire. We face the Hornets, Cavs, Spurs, Rockets, Hawks, 76ers, Minnesota, Pacers, Detroit, and the Knicks right before we face the Raptors. That's the first 10 games of the season for the Nets. And some people I talked with, we were making predictions. I think for this team to start the season, the first 10 games, maybe 2-10. That depends on the Hornets and the 76ers situation. And if the 76ers don't have Georgia and Embiid to start the season, maybe this team could have a chance against them, depending on if Maxey, what he can do in that game. And then the Hornets, they're still in a young rebuild, just like we are. I think that first game is very interesting because they have a lot of guards on their team. So do we.
Yes.
Like that's going to be like you can have good playmaking on both sides, but who's going to score all the points? That's where it's going to be interesting that first game. But other than that, I think a lot of these other teams could kick our asses royally. The Pacers, another interesting team I'll put there, but they have a really good young core still. Even though they lost Turner and Halliburton, they still have a good young core of guys. And they have Matt Thurin who can drop 30 if he really wants to. So, yeah, I think for the Nets to start the season, maybe 2-10, but I don't think they're going to beat a lot of guys to start out the season. And just like you said, November is going to be an interesting month. December is not going to be a crazy month, but January, that's going to be their toughest month because they have a lot of road games. So I think the schedule perfectly sets the Nets up to do business on the deadline and to be in the top of the lottery next year potentially.
All right, Joey, what you got on this wild schedule so far? If you remember what we were saying.
What you mean got on it as far as how many games we're going to win?
Nah, just what you think. If you think games or what you think about the schedule, like as far as like we're playing like playoff teams basically throughout November. It's like basically all playoff teams, and then you know what I'm saying tones down in December a little bit when we play guys that's in the play and not in the playing but below the playing. You know what I mean? So what you thinking about record wise? I think they got us at 22 wins right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think 22, 23 wins is fair. I think I always thought we was going to be between 20 to 25. So if you hit it right in the middle, 22, 23 wins, I'll take that.
No.
Like John said, the schedule was set up perfectly for us to tank. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not tripping about it. The Nets are going to be one of the doormats of the NBA this year, and that's just how it's going to go. I
I
mean,
was trying to
it
be
is.
nice, but Joe was like,
I
just
mean,
rip the heart out.
it is what it is. I mean, we can't sit up here and sugarcoat it. I mean, we
Right.
rebuild it. We got a young team, a young coach, um, and an inexperienced team. I mean, we got a lot of guys that were role players that we brought over here. We're looking to lead. So it's not like, you know, the expectations are super high. So
Right.
it is what it is, man. It's a rough schedule. I mean, we might sneak a couple of feel good wins in there here and here
Yeah.
against low tier teams. But for the most part, like John said, this season should set us up perfectly to receive a top 5 pick, praying that we do.
All
So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just try to be positive. I mean, it's all about it's going to be shitty, but it's all about development. It's all about building culture. It's all about about them getting their feet wet. So I mean, take it for what it is.
Right, definitely agree. And just like I said with January, look at this. This from January 4th all the way to January 12th, they faced Denver, the Magic, the Clippers, Memphis, and Dallas. And then I talked about December. That's
Yeah.
probably
That's
the easiest part of their schedule. They faced the Hornets, the Bulls, Utah, New Orleans, Miami, and Toronto. Those are all potential lottery teams right there. So, like for the Nets, that's probably the chance they can maybe steal a game or two, hell, maybe even three if they really want to at most. But most of the schedule, they're facing a lot of top teams, and the West is no joke again. I don't know if this team can get a game. I know last year we surprised some teams winning out in the West, but this year, with our team being much younger, I don't know if we can win more than maybe 4 or 5 games against the West this year, maybe 4 or 3. Like the West is so crazy. So yeah, this is definitely gonna be a tough ass schedule for the team. But I think it lines us up really well if you look at it. And the Nets do have some off days in between. I think the Nets have 3 or 4 off days in like 3 parts of the schedule. I know they don't play
right.
at all on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So this team is gonna have opportunities to just rest and recover from what's gonna be a tough first year for these young guys, which that should help these young guys as far as training goes. Even on 3 days off, you got to use it as a training day to get stronger, to get physically better, and to work on your skill set. So I think this schedule is mapped out great for these young guys as far as just getting better. I would say even this whole schedule itself is a boot camp season for this team. Like Jordy, like summer, he's going to give them a boot camp, but this whole season is a boot camp for this team as far as the young guys and their conditioning goes. So I look forward to seeing how they meet the challenge and if they could maybe steal a surprise win or two from teams that we think they have no chance against. That happened last year. I mean, I wouldn't say never on never, but for this young team to do it, that would be more surprising than what they did last year because they had a lot more vets last year than they did this year.
all right. That's what's up. What do you think about what Player One's comment? No way are we gonna lose more games than Philly or Utah. They have mastered tanking. You know what I'm saying? Is it possible that we organically now with the young players lose more games like we supposed to, even though we have Jordy, but just having the youth on the team. I know Utah has youth on the team now too, but Philly with Embiid in question about his knee coming back. You know what I'm saying? Will they still try to push for the playoffs, or will they? You know what I'm saying?
I
Do
still
the
don't
youth?
agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Uh,
Both of those teams still got more talent than us. Both of those teams are still more seasoned than us. I don't think we win more games than those teams. Absolutely not. Not with a rookie point guard and a young, I respect Jordy. He's a good young coach, but I don't see him taking this bunch and uh and making a miraculous run. I see us being like the bottom 3 seed in the East for sure.
Hell,
okay, okay.
worst seed, at least you're guaranteed top 5, which at this point, giving up a franchise guy, I wouldn't be upset about that. If we have the worst record, at least I know I'm getting top 5, not getting 8 or 9 like the NBA tried to do this year. No, if you're the worst team you're guaranteed at least a 5 slot. And given the talent that me and Ice are going to talk about through these next couple of weeks, especially in November when college season starts, a lot of these
Yeah,
guys could be potential franchise pieces. So if we get the fifth pick, I'm okay with that. I wouldn't be crazy happy about it because you don't get the Bonds or Booze or some of those other guys, but there could be a few guys right after that that could be guys that could have been picked at 1, 2, or 3. So you want to be a top 5 team next year, getting a top 5 lottery pick. You really do. And for this year, it sets us up perfectly. Like you have a lot of young guys, and I think Utah is definitely going to be our main competition as far as the bottom part of the lottery goes because they have a lot of young guys, and their coach is going to play the young guys a lot this year, which we should be doing. Don't let the vets hog all the minutes. Let these young guys fall on their own faces first to start out, but let them build up through adversity. Don't try to coddle them. This is a make or break for them as far as their development goes. Let them go through the adversity and build from that. I think that's what the focus should be. Now, Philly, I hope Embiid is healthy because if he's healthy, I know they're at least going to be near the play-in or a 6 seed at no worse. I don't think they're going to be a top 4 team just because they don't have a lot of depth as far as their wing position goes. They have a lot of guards, but they don't have a lot of wing depth. And if Embiid is out, their wing depth is kaput. So I really think for Philly, Embiid has to be healthy. If he's healthy going to training camp, I'm not worried about them. But if Embiid and George are out to start the season, definitely get nervous because OKC, I think, has their pick. So, like, if it's like a 1 through 4, Philly gets it. But if it's like 4 to 6, OKC gets another lottery pick just
yeah.
because. So I really don't want Philly to get a top 3 pick again because that's just going to be piss the hell out of us. Because they should be a team competing for a title, not competing to be a bottom seed like we are. Like, that would just be a heartbreaker, I think, as far as where the lottery odds go. But I think Utah is definitely be our main competition.
Yeah, I think Utah's going to be our main competition because they're like player one said they're committed to the tank. I
Right.
get it, but I still think they have. I mean, talent wise, I still think they have more talent than us, and more experience. But we'll see. I mean, Utah is Paul George. Is he coming into the season hurt? Is he
Yeah,
hurt?
I think he's still hurt. He was at the club with a knee brace on, wherever he
Yeah,
was at.
but
I mean,
it's not like season ending or nothing crazy
no,
like
no,
that,
no,
right?
no.
Yeah, but
I'll check it right
even
now, but
without
I don't think
Embiid,
so.
man, I just don't see Maxi, Paul George, and they just got what's the kid they just got?
Edgecombe.
Edgecombe. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm not sitting up here saying like they gonna be like a threat in the East, but I don't see them being worse than us. You know what I mean?
I hope not. And Rehole at 88's funny. He says, "Come on, John. Ned Staley said it best: make the play in, lose out, and get the number 1 pick like the Mavs." Listen, the Mavs did some sneaky crap. We all know what they did with trading Luka to get Cooper Flag. Man, that's definitely one of those rare,
Yes,
like,
sir.
holy crap moments. But for us, you don't want to do what you did last year, which is win extra games that you don't have to win and get the 6 odds again. Like everybody said, mathematically, getting the 6 odds was the worst position to be in, and it came true just like it should have. So for the Nets, you want to at least have a third or fourth worst record because at least you can get in the top 5 somehow. You don't want to be a 6th or 7th odds saying, hey, we won some extra games for morality, but hey, we don't get a Debansa, a Boozer, or a Mon, or any of these guys. We get the 8th or 9th pick, which is not horrible, but it's definitely not where we want to be because this team does not have a franchise guy. Once the Nets get their franchise guy, it's a lot easier to build a core around that guy, but we don't even have that right now. So Jordy
Exactly.
better handle this like a magician this year, hell, even as a strategist this year, and not try to do what he did last year because you want a team that you can actually compete with, not a team that you can be mediocre with, but say, hey, we did more than what people expected. Nah, that's not how the NBA business works. You got to play it smart, not play it for your own selfish reasons.
Yeah, I just hope that. I mean, I just pray that we do it the right way. We
Yeah.
organically tank because if we play the young guys, we're going to organically tank. We do it the right way. We one of the bottom seeds in the bottom seeds in the league, and then the NBA still finds a way to screw us over. Then I'm gonna
Oh,
really be pissed. You
I
know what I
agree.
mean? But I mean, we'll see. I mean, look at. I mean, everybody talks about the odds. Yeah, being 6 or where we were at were bad odds, but I mean, how the hell did the damn Mavs look at their odds? How the hell did they get the goddamn what was it, less than 1% or something like that?
1%, 1%
Yeah,
on the
and they
money.
got the number 1 pick. So I mean, I don't know, man. I don't like I said, I don't want to get on my soapbox with this conspiracy theorist thing, but I just think the NBA just gonna do whatever they want to do. They know where they want. They know where they want certain players to go. But we'll see, man. But
Yeah,
if we do this thing the right way and we play the young guys, we won't have to tank. We will organically tank playing the young guys. You know what I mean? So
Right.
right.
that's what should
Got to
happen.
trust the
So
young guys. You got to trust them. At the end of the day, if you want to do this right, trust them, which is let them fail. Like at the end of the day, they must think that letting them fail is going to hurt their confidence. No, it's going to make them stronger because you have to learn through trial and error. All the tanking teams did it. Hell, Detroit did, and look at them right now. They're a team that could be a legit playoff team for years to come, just because they kept a young core and then they just throw them away for an aging star or something like that. And for us, we don't even have the number one or two or three guy right now. Cam Thomas hypothetically could be a third guy, but his organization doesn't want to give him any type of money. So we really are starting from scratch. But if you want to start from scratch, you have a great shot to get a top guy in 2026 to really propel you forward as a team. We just have to do it right, because if they don't do it right next year, you're going to have to go back into the market and get a star and hope that they want to be here long enough to try to do something special. But we've done that twice. And guess what? Didn't get us anywhere. So we got to try something new. And at least if you get the guy next year, you want to go after a star, go ahead, because at least now you have two foundational pieces right there and some good depth. But you have to have the structure. I think we have the cap space advantage and the draft capital advantage. Now get the talent advantage, and this team could cook in a weak East right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, facts. All right, you know what I'm saying? We talked about majority of stuff I want to talk about. I got one more thing I just thought about. Give me two players out of players that, I mean, our roster is crazy right now, but two guys or one guy that you think is going to stand out this season, you know what I'm saying? As currently constructed as of right now, it don't matter. But you know, so if you pick a guy that's not here, he's not here. But for right now, give me a guy who you think is gonna stand out this season. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter who it is, just on this roster.
Joe, you go first. I'll go second.
oh man, let's see. Uh uh I don't want to pick the rookies. I mean, I would pick Drake Powell, but I ain't gonna pick the rookies because they rookies. I'm gonna go with Dayron, and I'm gonna go with Clowney, man.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
sharp.
I think Sharp, man, he been putting in the work. I mean, you see it in his body, you know what I mean? He been in off season, he been trying to get his body right. And I think Sharp really wants to be good. Like he really wants to show people he can play in this league. And he's consistently shooting on his I mean consistently working on his jump shot. And he's coming back on a new contract, and I think he's gonna be hungry, man. I think he gonna show up and show out. And I think Clowney, he's gonna be a little bit more comfortable. He's been putting in the work. His shooting should be a little bit better. He should be a little bit stronger. And I think they're gonna be comfortable, a little bit more comfortable out there. And they're gonna show us some things. So I'm gonna pick those two guys.
All right.
Very interesting.
What you
All
got,
right,
John?
I'm gonna go from one of the rookies and then one of the guys that's on our team. So I definitely think Jaeger Dioman, the spotlight is on him this year. And the great thing is he seems to have the maturity factor. He seems to want to show a leadership aspect as far as just getting everybody together. You've seen some of the documentaries. He's getting guys in huddles saying, we gotta play as a team, we gotta do this, do that. Like he already is trying to be that extension of what Jordy wants his team to do. And I really like that he has that mindset at such a young age. Now for him, the two biggest factors he has to get better at are his strength and his quickness. He is not a speedy guy right now, and he's definitely not a strong guy. So he admitted himself, I got to get physically strong. You'll probably see me more in the gym this year than on the court training. So if he can bulk himself up this year and
Uh-huh.
quicken his pace on the court, he's definitely going to meet some potential as far as his development goes. So I definitely do see him breaking out a little bit this year. Not going to be a crazy breakout, but he's definitely going to show you why he was drafted the way he was, which was a reach and a gamble. But if he can meet the challenge, it definitely makes Sean and Joe look like geniuses instead of fools. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops. Another guy, I'm going to say Zaire, because I think Zaire is one of Jordy's original products. The guy came in from Memphis, didn't have a role, He had a lot of weaknesses, and for Jordy, he told them, "Listen, you got to be a defensive spark plug, a pit bull every freaking night. Put you on the court," and he had that. I mean, you saw Zaire even in preseason the year before, nearly throw himself to the announce table to make a defensive play. Like this guy definitely had moments last year where he showed that defensive intensity, which is kind of like the model for what Jordy wants his team to be on a defensive level. And then you saw the 3-point shot get better, which was a huge weakness of Zaire's in Memphis. His 3-point shot went up a lot. I think it was the best on this team. So for Zaire this year, I'm looking for him to validate a role in this team. I don't think he'll be a starter when ready to contend. I think he could be a good bench piece for this team as far as what he could give you on the 3-point side and on the defensive side. And he's a rim runner too. So he has a lot of skill sets in his arsenal we have not yet have seen as far as the complete game goes. But last year you saw spurts of it. So for Zaire this year, validate why he should have a role in this team. So I definitely think Jaeger and Zaire could be two potential breakout guys for this team as far as what they're trying to build as an identity.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. I like the answers. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere with this. I'm gonna go Terrence Mann, and I'm gonna go Zaire. The reason I'm gonna say Terrence Mann, right? Like Joey said, he might have something to prove. You know what I mean? He's on a lesser winning team right now, and you know what I'm saying? He might be a slept on guy. Guys know who Terrence Mann is, but you know what I'm saying? Does he have more to offer? I think this is the opportunity he gets to show, you know what I'm saying? Everything that he got to offer on this team. I don't know the role, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what role he's going to play, but I see him as a guy as John said, he could be a Jordy type guy too. Defensive guy first, you know what I'm saying? He can move the ball. He can score a little bit. He's athletic, kind of strong, you know what I'm saying? I think he's underrated strong. He's strong. You know what I mean? So I think he's got more to offer. I just hope that we see it this season, but I'm gonna take him, and I'm gonna take Zaire for some of the reasons John said. I seen them working, you know what I'm saying, on the I seen him working on the ISO game by himself, and I seen him and Terrence Mann working together. And Zaire was a top lottery pick. He's got more to prove, you know what I'm saying? That he, like you said, like he belongs in this league and he could do more than just defend, you know what I'm saying? Offense shot coming around. I seen him working on the ISO. I seen him working on mid-range shots, closer to the basket, fadeaway shots, quick pull-up, one dribble shots, you know what I'm saying? Fadeaway shots. I seen him working on a lot of things like that doesn't take a lot of dribbling, and where he has advantages over shorter players like Terrence Mann was guarding him, you know what I'm saying? So Terrence will push him out the paint a little bit, but Chris Johnson would tell him to nah, you got to pull up, like when you get to this spot, you got to pull up right here. And once he started elevating, I'm like, damn, like, yo, you can't even do nothing with his shot for real. If he elevates like that all the time and shoot his jumper, like it's a legit problem. So I think he's still got more to grow. He's got a lot to learn, but I think he'll stand out as well this season. I see a lot of people in chat saying Nolan, Day, Dragon, Dayron, Zaire, and Saraf. You know what I'm saying? Saraf, player one, got Saraf in there. He's got a lot to prove to the fan base as well. You know what I mean? Because I don't think a lot of the fans like him as a pick in the first place. So he's got a lot to prove. You know what I mean? Keon, if Keon makes the team, he might have something to prove too. A lot of these dudes got something to prove on this roster. So It's going to be mayhem, you know what I'm saying, before preseason. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be mayhem.
I think I like the Keon. You know, I like the Keon pick too. I think I don't think I think Keon's a little bit more comfortable. He's going to be a little bit more comfortable this year. I feel like, yeah, he's going to have more to prove because obviously he's still a young player, but I think he's going to be comfortable because I feel like he feels like he's proved enough to the Brooklyn Nets for them to really take a chance on him. Now I think he's going to probably try to take it to that next level this year because he's more comfortable and knowing that the organization and the coaches have confidence in him now.
Right. That's a good
Bryce
assessment.
funny. He's ready to watch preseason at 8 in the morning. That's because they're going to China for 2 games. Oh yeah, I don't. If it's a morning game, I'll be asleep. I ain't getting up at 8 o'clock to watch that. I'll watch the highlights on YouTube. Thank you, modern technology. That's
Yeah,
funny.
I also see. I'm surprised nobody said your boy, man, Tyrese Martin. I seen Tyrese put
yo,
that
I
one.
was gonna say
Yeah.
that. I was
Hey,
gonna
so let's
say
talk
that.
about Tyrese. That's your guy. You scouted him
Yeah, I know.
personally.
I
Come
know.
on,
I picked
Ice.
Man. I was gonna go with Reese, but I went with Man. You know what I mean? Nah, I think if he makes this roster, I think I seen him also working on a lot of ISO scoring opportunities in his workouts. A lot of ISO, a lot of step backs, a lot of off the dribble, not catch and shoot stuff like how they used them. So I think he got something to prove too, that he can play. And he worked. I seen him working on driving and dunking to the coming down the lane, dunking. So I don't know if that's what he going to try to open up his bag to be, something that he has some athleticism and he could get down the lane and dunk on somebody. You know what I'm saying? I seen him working on that in practice. But yeah, my guy Reese, you know what I'm saying? I hope he make the team, bro. That's all I got to say about Reese. You know what I'm saying?
Here, here. Nah, but it's it's gonna be very interesting to see who does break this roster when it has to be settled by around October, just before the season starts. Like, I hope a lot of these guys get fair opportunities to prove themselves, but at the same time, they have to be the ones to do it themselves and show that they can add to their skill sets. I think Zaire has potential to be a good bench piece for this team. I think Yegor, a lot of pressure is going to be on him because he is our first ever lottery pick. But I think for these guys, take the pressure in stride. At the end of the day, nobody's really looking at us to do anything special. So take it upon yourselves to improve on your weaknesses at least. Yes, you're probably not going to win a lot of games, but if you win the battles within yourself as far as evolving your skill set, that's going to be the best victory out of the season because it means you're going to get better the following and the following. So for these young guys,
Exactly.
set bars and goals for yourself this year. But at the end of the day, we need this team to play like a team at the same time. Don't make it all about individuals. What I do like about what Joy wants to do is move us away from the ISO type of thing. Because when we had Katie, Kyra, and James, it was one of the best ISO offensive teams potentially in the NBA, but they just couldn't stay together long enough because their egos to make it work. Now, what you saw at OKC and the Pacers, you can have a franchise guy and you can have a great core and great depth. For the Nets, they're not going to have that for maybe 3 or 4 more years, but if you can get the beginnings of a core and have guys that bring balance to your roster, it's what's going to make the Brooklyn Nets a special team in the East. And we do need that culture and identity that makes us different from everybody else. I think Jordy is trying to figure that out, but I hope after next year's draft we can really start finalizing that because you want guys to invest in. My thing is, I have nobody in this team that I can personally invest in because I don't know if they're going to be here in 3 to 4 years. But if I see them improve on the weakness this year, I'd be like, you know what? I think that guy's going to be in the next 3 to 4 years. But we have to see it this year. So if you Brooklyn fans can stomach what's going to be a tough-ass season, you yourself will see with your own eyes that these guys are improving on the weaknesses. Yes, results still look great, but if you see them improving, you might be invested in them as players. And I think that's what we need to show this organization. We want to invest in these players. We don't want to reshuffle the deck every year hoping for a different outcome because you're not going to build anything that way. So invest in certain guys this year and let's see them play out and see what they can build upon as far as the beginning stages of their careers go for the young guys.
All right, that's what's up. Before we go, let's see this one on the screen, Joey. This one for you right here, Derek Whitehead. What do you think Derek has to do? Either he has to do something by the end of the season. So, what do you think Derek needs to do? You know what I'm saying, to show this season to even stay on the team next season. You know what I'm saying, because his contract year is next year. Him and Clowney's is next year. You know what I mean. So, what do you think Derek needs to do?
He needs to take the max advantage of his opportunities because with all the young depth that we acquired, I feel like it's kind of put Derek Whitehead deeper and deeper into a hole. He has so many guys that he has to try to get by to get into the rotation. So whenever he gets his opportunities, he's going to have to play his ass off, and he's going to have to try to, get get noticed because we drafted 5 rookies, man, and 3 of them are guards. So no, actually 4, right?
Yeah, 4.
4 of them are guards. So then we still got the ones that we have on the roster. So it's going to be rough for Derek. He's gotta climb himself up out of that hole, man. Hopefully he does it. So like I said, he got to take advantage of the opportunities he get and make them count.
I agree. He's got to have a role by the trade deadline next year. If not, I can see this Nets team maybe flip him for a second or maybe waive him because if you can't get any value for him, if he can't hold down a role, it's like, what's the point? And that would be a huge loss that Sean Marks is going to have to take on the chin because if he can't, everybody's going to look at him like he has two heads because this was a guy you drafted. He was injury prone, but you thought he could recover some value from his Duke days where we're not seeing it yet. I hope we could
He
see
thought
that.
he thought he was going to be Karis LeVert 2.0, bro.
Yeah, and it's like we haven't seen it. The guy hasn't even been in the league yet. He's been a bust so far. I don't care what anybody says. Everyone criticized Cam Thomas. Well, at least Cam has shown you can give you offense. What has Dariq Whitehead shown us so far besides making some threes? Not a whole lot. So this is a make or break for his young career, and I hope he can do it. I truly do. But right now, it's just not looking good because you have so many players on the team. And before we end, Ice, we got to acknowledge this guy too. Nick Claxton, as much as some of us are ready to be done with him, this is a huge season for him as far as rebuilding value. Because you look at his value right now, it's a big zero because not a lot of people trust what he can do offensively without having stars on the team. And last year, defensively, he just really wasn't playing with that type of energy that you've seen him play with the previous years before. For Claxton this year, even if he's a trade chip or not, he has to rebuild his value. And the great thing is you have all these playmakers. So Claxton realistically should be our fourth or fifth best scorer on this team if he can work with the playmakers, be mature and professional, and boost up his stats. If he can do that this year, I think maybe the Nets do want to keep him or they could flip him if the team really wants him. But for Claxton this year, you got to improve your stock and just be a professional. If you can do that, it's probably going to play out in the best interest of the Brooklyn Nets. But he's somebody that definitely has to get it together because right now we're just stuck paying him $20 million to essentially do nothing but catch some lobs. And you really don't want that for a guy who's going to be, 26 now? He's a year away from his prime. You want him to show you that he's ready to take those next steps and just be a good team player. Like Claxton this season, he has to show us something that we haven't seen yet.
All right, I'm gonna go back to Dariq because y'all basically got it right. Dariq, he's got to show that he's actually healed from the injury. If his shin splints, because I just read most shin splints either takes weeks or months, and
Ouch.
it's been a year. So if he can't get back to it, what I'm saying, I know he's been surgery and he hasn't been hooping and he's not in peak Duke shape, but if he hasn't got there by this summer, because I said I'll give him some more time to get that, what I'm saying, to work on his jumping and get it all back. I know once you get to surgery, sometimes it takes a while for your body to what I'm saying, get used to doing things all over again. So for me, it's him seeing his, like you said, you seen the shot come back. That was the first thing that started coming back for him was his 3-point shot. He struggled in the G League getting to the cup. He couldn't really elevate when he needed to elevate. Everything was a real low layup. It was even getting blocked or he was, missing a layup because he don't have his legs. So now for me, his athleticism, he has to show that, he's worked to get at least some of that back so he can look sort of like what he looked at like Duke. He don't have to look all the way like he did at Duke yet, but he has to show that he's been working on his body and his confidence that he can go out there, and dunk on somebody if he could. He didn't have really crazy bounce, but he had enough that, he could dunk on somebody. So if he can get some of that back, it'll be good because like y'all saying and Brian said, like he's got enough guys, enough competition where if he don't show up, he's gonna be the odd man out. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be the odd man out, and he's got to get his step back. He got to get his dribble game back. I seen a little bit of in the G League come back, and you know what I'm saying. I was hoping he would use somebody. He shot more threes in the NBA, and he didn't really put the ball on the ground like that. But his handles is coming back slowly. His athleticism is not there yet. And Claxton, what you got on Claxton, Joey?
I mean, shit. I mean, you know what I got on Claxton, man. I hit it on the head, bro. I know what we want to see, but I'm not looking forward to too much to Claxton. Like I said on previous pods, I think Claxton hit his ceiling, man. I don't think it's any more untapped potential there. So,
Right.
I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. We'll see. And then some people are saying, hey, it's because he needs a good point guard to play with. So I don't know,
We got
man.
three. He has to show us something. You have 3 point guards. No excuses why this guy shouldn't have over 10 points. And that was the problem last year. He was averaging like 8 to 9 point game performances. I'm like, dude, you're probably one of our best players on this team because we don't have a lot of good players, and you were just offensively doing nothing. This year with these different point guards, he should be having at least over 13 or 14 to 15 points at the very least. If he can't do that, it's like we're just paying this guy money to do nothing on this team
So
essentially.
let
And the
me
fact
say
that he's
this. Let me
yeah,
say this
Joe.
about Claxton. Since Claxton been in Brooklyn, I haven't seen enough improvement in his physicality, and I haven't seen enough improvement in his offense for
Okay.
me to really for it him to really move me. You know what I mean? So I mean, it is what it is. I'm just like he's here until we can get rid of him. So maybe he proves me wrong and he comes out and starts balling out this year. But I'm not really holding my nose for real,
He
holding my
ha-
breath.
he has to get his value up because I do think the Nets want to trade him. It's just nobody wants him. So this is what the playmakers have to do. Boost his value up any way you can because we also have Danny Wolf and Clowney who we want to get minutes. Hell, Dayron could start potentially, but with Claxton still on this team, it's like Wolf and Clowney are the odd men out where they have to take backup roles, and there's other guys next to them that wanted those roles. So if you do trade Claxton mid-season, hey, it spot opens up for Dayron to start, and then you can have Wolf potentially be his backup, and then Clowney be the backup power
So
forward. I like that a lot better than this current structure right now because Claxton, if he doesn't show you anything new, like Joey said, I really do think he has hit his ceiling, which it sucks because this guy was an offensive guy in college. Hell, he was playing point guard in college, and now look how far he's fallen on that side of the ball. He just saw him with mid-range and threes last year. He has one of the shortest windups ever. It looks so bad. So he has to really get his value up this year because if you do trade him, it gives more playing time to the guys that could be a part of our long-term future, like Wolf, Clowney, and Dayron potentially. So I hope we do trade Claxton this season so we could open up more playing time for those guys because those guys' ceilings haven't hit yet. I think Dayron's has, but he's a great rebounder. But the other two, Wolf and Clowney, we still haven't seen what their ceilings could be. So if you
true.
take
I think
Claxton, it makes this a lot easier for them to get
so.
playing
I
time.
I, I like what Jovan Ship said. I will say that I am curious to see how Claxton looks next to Wolf. How he looks next to Wolf.
Mhm.
I want to see some more of him and Clowney together. I want to see how he looks next to another big. See if that's going to make a change in his game. You know what I mean? Also, we got some. We got 3 point guards now. So, I mean, I know they rookies, so we'll see how that helps him out because these guys like facilitating and they like throwing dimes. So we'll see if that helps him out as well. So just
Right.
curious to see how he's going to fit with these new pieces and if these new pieces are going to help elevate his game.
Yeah, facts. Player one, to answer this question, it's a little bit of both. Claxton needs someone to be a power forward, like another help defender. You know what I'm saying? Once he has help, because he can't man the paint by himself. He can't, you know what I'm saying? Against bigger centers, stronger centers, he struggled a lot with that. When he had KD is tall enough and long enough and a good help side defender, you know what I'm saying, to help him out.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that made his defense look better. So once he doesn't have that, he's on the island by himself. You know what I'm saying? We only got a little bit of him and Clowney
But
together. Go ahead, Joey.
no, I think people really confuse. Like, okay, here's the thing about Claxton. When we look at his defensive game, we like to look at it from a holistic view. He's a good perimeter defender, right? He looks good when he's guarding smaller players because he's long and he's big, but he can move his feet, right?
Right.
The thing about Claxton is Claxton cannot guard his position in the paint. He's
Mm.
also a very good help side defender,
Yeah.
but he's not a good interior defender. Like if
Right.
somebody is chasing their man towards the basket, um, uh,
Clax.
Claxton will run and help on the weak side and block the shot. It's like they're leading them into Claxton type stuff. But if
Right.
Claxton is there on the island, he's not really blocking shots and doing all that type of stuff. He's not anchoring the paint. You know what I mean? So
Right.
when we saying you guys got to chill, like yes, he's a good defender, but he's also weak in some areas in defense. You know what I
Right.
mean? He's not an
Right.
all around 1 through 5 lockdown defender. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I
Right.
said, he can't even guard his own position. So how can he be that?
Right, and I know how the player one brought up KD, but it was James Harden when Claxton had James Harden. It was so easy for Harden to find this guy for an exorbitant amount of lob threats. Like James Harden just knew how to find Claxton for easy dunks. And when you have Kyrie, KD, and James, nobody was guarding Claxton. This guy had the easiest layups I've ever seen somebody have. Like, when you have three great players that everybody has to defend, Claxton is like, okay, I'll just get a lob, I'll just get a dunk. Nobody's like,
I'll just
he
roll
had
to
the
the basket. Yeah.
yeah, he had the best field goal percentage in the league because of that, and that was all fine and dandy. But you take the stars away, Claxton can't do much by himself. I literally said this on different shows. He needs a point guard to do 90% of the work for him. It's a hard
Absolutely.
truth to admit, but not really, because that's when Claxton's at his best. But without those type of guys, Claxton just can't do the offense by himself. And we saw the bad mid-range attempts and the three-point shots. It just don't work for him because he's mostly an interior paint threat. But just like Joey said, he can't guard the interior paint as much, especially if he has a mismatch. Now, he can be a good help defender, but this is why I wish they would have played Clowney with him. Having Clowney and Claxton together helps on the rebounding side and gives you two shot blockers. If you have just Claxton, this is where the Cam Thomas thing comes to be a problem. If Claxton has to help Cam out, who's going to guard the paint? Nobody. That's how bad our front court has been the last few years, ladies and gentlemen. That's how bad it is. So I can even understand now why they don't even want Cam back as much, because they don't have a front court that can help Cam Thomas. But that's their problem to figure out. So that's why I said on Scott's show the other day, I wouldn't be upset if they had a starting lineup of Yegor, Cam, MPJ, Clowney, and Claxton, because at least we're trying to boost Claxton's value up. He has another lob threat and a shot blocker next to him to help out with the defense and to boost his value up. Then you have MPJ to knock down threes, and he can find Claxton for some lobs. And you have Jaeger and Cam, whose playmaking can help as well. So I feel like that would be the best way of going about this. Let Zaire be MPJ's backup at the three. Let Clowney and Clax start, and let's boost Claxton's value up, because we have to do it. If we don't boost Claxton's value up this year, we're just stuck paying him money for no freaking reason. I really hope that don't happen. But just like Joey said, this guy really can't do much unless a star player or a star point guard is helping him by doing 9% of the work. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is with Claxton. I feel bad his career has gotten to this point, but at the end of the day, it's up to him to make the adjustments. And he's basically shown this coaching staff, I need certain guys to be able to meet my potential, and that's not good in a rebuild situation.
I think Ice hit it on the head, though. A lot of people keep talking about the KD days. Like, KD made Claxton look a lot better on defense. You feel what I'm saying? Because you got another 7-footer in there, guy who's almost 7 feet, and Katie's a pretty good defender. So he's going to help Claxton with defense. He's going to help Claxton with rebounds. The thing is, Claxton, like I said, I hate to be a broken record, but he's not strong enough. He's not a strong enough big to do that without at least another big helping him. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying I'm excited. Maybe having Wolf and him playing with these other bigs I don't know. Maybe it'll spark some of that back. I don't know. But I mean, we're talking about Wolf compared to KD here. So, one of the best freaking players in the game. So, but we'll see, man. I don't want to be too negative on Clax, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be negative on him. We already know what it is. Motivation, player one. Yes, I think sometimes when he don't get to rock a lot, he gets unmotivated. If he's not getting no lobs and he's just playing defense, I think that does take a toll on him. You know what I'm saying? On the defensive end, he starts slacking off a little bit. So I think, like John and Joey said, now that we got these playmakers, and they going to throw lobs, you know what I'm saying? They looking to get the rock out of their hands because they not really scorers like that. So they looking. So I think now he got somebody that's going to consistently look for him. If they know that he's roaming and he's rim running, I think they're going to look for him more, and that might get him. You might see a change in his pace, his uptick for the game. You know what I mean? I think a lot of that has to do with him not getting the ball a lot. He out there running cardio. You know what I'm saying? That's what my analysis is for Clax. You know what I mean? Other than what everybody else said about, you know what I'm saying, him being next to KD and playing defense and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right. You hit on the head.
Claxton's offense. Claxton looks better in the open court. That's where he looks good. he's going to eat on offense. Either he's going to eat on offense in the open court, or he's going to eat off the PNR. That's it. You gotta have somebody to run the PNR with him, over the top lobs. Somebody who's effective in the mid range. That way, it keeps the defenders on their heels. So they gotta kind of like stay pat and don't want to give up a open shot, or they got to bite, and then Claxton is open and you throw the lob over the top. He needs somebody like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. He's limited in what he can do. We know that, and it just is what it is. I mean,
that's why playing Clowney with Claxton wouldn't be a bad thing, because I know they might want to play MPJ there, but man, having him defensively as a power forward, that's just not a great scenario whatsoever. And it's to help us get a top pick, which I'm totally fine with. But if we're trying to boost up Claxton's value to eventually trade him, you probably should slide MPJ to the 3, let Clowney be the 4. At least that should help Claxton defense stock up and his lob threat stock up, because he's going to have the playmakers in Jaeger and Cam. I think right now that's what a focus should be, is having Claxton be a big part of our offense, which is not going to be great whatsoever. But if we're trying to boost up Claxton's value, we have the tools to do so. It's just that should be a priority, because like you said, Ice, we don't need this guy just running cardio and being, I should be involved more. Claxton, make yourself involved at the end of the day. Unless the coaching staff don't like you, then that's their problem to figure out. But you definitely got to be a part of this offense if you do want to get traded to a different team. But he's got to step up to the plate, because if he's just running cardio, we're just paying this guy money for no reason.
And my thing, like, we talk about the offensive, right? I mean, how athletic guys are. Like, yeah, Clax is athletic, but to me, okay, Clax, even if you don't got a mid-range, bro, you're faster than most of the centers in the league. You should be flying by motherfuckers and yamming that shit. You don't even do that. You know what I mean?
That's a good one, Joey.
It's like you can't even like get past these big guys and beat them to the rim and finish strong. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's athletic, but I still think he's limited athletically. Like, most of his dunks come off of lobs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They come assisted.
Right. So you saying, do Claxton need to drive and beat these centers to the rim and yam it on somebody?
But that is going to be that's going to be his that's going to be his advantage, because he doesn't have the size to really play with his back against the basket. You know what I mean? Or he doesn't have to dominate in the paint like that, so he has to use his speed and his athleticism.
Yep, he has to. If they're going to trade him, you got to make him part of your offense to start out, because you just have him being a lob threat that is unmotivated. Well, you're just stuck with him. So this organization has a lot to balance out here, because there are some players in this team that you could trade for other assets. There aren't long-term fixtures, but you got to utilize them. If you don't utilize them, you can't trade them for anything. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces this year for this organization, going into training camp, going into the preseason, regular season, trade deadline, hell, end of the season. This roster from the start to the finish is not going to be the same. So it'll be interesting to see if we do get some guys' values up who we do trade. I think Claxton still has a market somewhat. I know the Lakers got Ayton, but their backup right now is who's the backup? Jackson Hayes. He's not really a great backup. And I know they want to pay a guy $20 million, but if the Lakers really want to win in this last year with LeBron potentially being on the team, getting Claxton a backup big is not a horrible thing. Also, Memphis, John Morant's still really good friends with him. And I'd even say the Hornets. I've looked at different trade scenarios where you could trade Claxton to the Hornets for Grant Williams' expiring contract and some picks. I'm totally fine with that too, because if the Hornets are slightly better than us, that improves our draft odds. So I still think Claxton has a market. It's just they have to utilize him this season. Can't just let him be an unhappy guy that wants to go somewhere else. You got to make him want to go somewhere else by boosting his value up. So
he's a decent piece, but depending on who he's next to is going to depend how good he is.
Right.
He has to have certain things set up for him. You know what I mean? He has to be for him to really excel like that. You know what I mean? He's not going to be that guy, that plug and play type of guy. So
exactly. On that note, y'all got anything else before we close out, or we good?
I just wanted to say this too. Somebody brought it up in the chat, and we didn't even talk about his free throws. The guy still can't shoot free throws.
Wait, Claxton takes free throws? I couldn't tell. He always misses the rim.
I'm like, damn, bro, like you
man.
ain't even improved on your free throws since you've been in the league. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know.
Hell, Mason Plumlee with one shooting to get is better free throw shooter than him. That's crazy. But
Crazy.
yeah, Ice. We talked a lot of good stuff today. I think there's gonna be a lot of activity still left as far as where we go. The Nets have $22 million of cap space. There's probably gonna be a salary dump trade or two. The Nets are probably gonna do. So it'll be interesting to see who we get, who we buy out, and what more picks we can add. I think the Nets are doing a great job with asset collection mode because when they're ready to contend and compete, they have a lot of assets to trade for big upgrades. So that's great. It's just we got to spend this cap space soon and resolve the Cam Thomas situation because as a rebuilding team, we should still not have this stuff unresolved. We should know who's going to be on this team going to what's going to be a tough season. So I hope this gets done soon because if this stuff is still unresolved going to September, whoo, it's going to be a wild one. But Ice and Joey, always great talking fun basketball with you guys. Always great combos.
Yep. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and give you a shout out before I close out. You know what I'm saying? Let them know where they can find you at. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Ice, Joey, you know where to find me. Everybody else, if you want to talk fun basketball with me, I'm on Twitter always. Everything BK, that's John. Talking fun Brooklyn conversations, being on different fun podcasts like this one. And Ice and Joey are two very great, knowledgeable basketball guys. Great to always talk fun basketball with them. Shout out Brooklyn always.
Yeah,
All
you can
right.
catch me on I'll be on Twitter, man. My handle is in my name, at Notorious. I'm usually in the spaces on Twitter or I'm on Breezy's podcast or I'm here kicking it with my boy Ice, just talking Brooklyn Nets basketball. If you want to come up there on Twitter and follow me, I'll follow you back. And you know what I mean? We can, chat it up about Brooklyn Nets basketball, man. I'm always, willing and eager to talk about, Brooklyn Nets stuff. So that's all I got, man. I'm passing back to Ice.
All right. Y'all know my motto. Y'all don't have to like, y'all don't have to subscribe because I don't know anything. You heard? And we out. You know what I'm saying?
Peace.
Peace.